how this inverter and uh, logic gates are actually used for designing different circuitry, like say for if you want to complement register content, then this type of circuitry you can use. Right here, it is used for comparing two say 8-bit data, or here it is 6-bit data is compared. Similarly, we can have 8-bit comparison circuitry, right? Then here a simple adder circuit, 4-bit adder circuitry is there, right? Then here we have 8-bit adder subtractor. You can see 4 inverters, controlled inverters are used here and here. So if you give sub SU equal to 1, right, A minus B will be performed, and if sub equal to 0, then A plus B will be performed, and result will be outed here at S0, S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6, S7, and final carry will be generated over here. So these type of circuitry we are discussing. We discuss the flip-flop circuits, and how flip-flop circuits are actually used for storing a bit or 4-bit that we have discussed. Like here, you can see X0, X1, X2, X3 will be loaded. Moment this positive edge clock strikes the flip-flops, right? Similarly, the control load, right? If you give load equal to 1, then only X0, X1, X2, X3 are going to be stored in these flip-flops. If you make load equal to 0, then whatever data is already stored in the flip-flops, Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3 are again stored back with next clock pulse striking the flip-flops, right? So these type of, then shift register also we discussed how with each clock pulse, right? In these flip-flops, data shifts from left, right? Q0 comes to Q1 place. Similarly, Q1 comes to Q2 place, Q2 comes to Q3 place, and Q3 go out of the register, right? So shift register, then here we have controlled shift register. Then here load and shift is also there, right? You can load parallelly, X0, X1, X2, X3 you can load, or you can load the data serially through this D in. Through this D in, you can load data serially, and you can shift them with each clock pulse striking from Q0 to Q1, Q1 to Q2, Q2 to Q3, right? If you go for shift left, right? Similarly, X0, X1, X2, X3, you can load to Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3 by making this load control signal active, right? And once you load this, then you can simply, if you keep this shift left, then data will be shifted like this. So these things are there. Then we discuss the counter circuitry also. This counter circuit actually used to count the number of pulses, right? And here JK inputs are tied to VCC, so it's going to act in toggle mode. And here this clock is a negative S trigger. So whenever negative S is there, then only transition in the output takes place. And output of first flip-flop is taken as clock to second flip-flop. So whenever output of first flip-flop toggles from 1 to 0, then only output of second flip-flop is changing. You can see Q0, Q1, similarly Q2, similarly Q3 over here. Right. So these circuitry we discussed earlier. Right. This one is the actual circuitry which will be used in SAP1 architecture. It is a 4-bit binary counter. It counts from 0, 0, 0, 0 to triple 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, F. Right. So it counts 16 clock pulses. Right. And counting is controlled one. Whenever you make one, then only this clock pulse will be counted. And if you make count equal to 0, that time this clock pulse will be neglected by this, right? That time this clock pulse will be neglected by this counter, right? So in fact, program counter is used to store the address of the instruction to be executed by the processor, right? So whenever one instruction is executed, right, then program counter will be incremented by 1. And next, so whatever will be the content of program counter will point to next location where we have next instruction. Anyway, we will discuss all these things in SAFON also. Then we have very important circuitry, ring counter. Now ring counter actually tells you, actually this just indicates this continuous clock as different periods, like uh, right now it is 9 o'clock. After 60 minutes it will become 10 o'clock. After another 60 minutes it will become 11 o'clock. So similarly it will go up to 12 p.m. Then again it will start 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or in next day again your microprocessor lecture will start. So this way actually a continuous clock is divided. It's actually not divided, actually it tells you this during this period you have to do this, during this period you have to do this. So a continuous clock is actually named, or a typical output is generated, right? So suppose during first clock pulse Q0 will be 1. So whatever work we are supposed to do during this period will be finished. Then during T2 Q1 will be on. So Q1 will tell us you have to do this. During T3 Q, right? So this ring counter will be used in SAFON architecture, and during T1 program counter will be outed. During T2 program counter will be implemented. During T3 instruction from memory will be fetched and it will be stored in instruction register, and T3 onwards execution of the instruction will start. So this way it is going to synchronize the working of or execution of the instructions. Here we have 6-bit ring counter. You can see already I have listed different operation. During T1 PC is outed, during T2 PC is incremented, during T3 instruction is fetched from the memory, and T4, T5, T6 execution will be there. So this circuitry we discussed earlier. Here a register is there which has got two control signals. One is load, another one enable. Right? When we make load signal active, then X0, X1, X2 will be stored in this register, 4-bit register. And when we make enable, then whatever is the data stored in the register will be available in these lines Y0, Y1, Y2, Y3. So this will be used for just transferring the data from one register to another register using common bus and all. So next circuitry will be this one. This also we discussed, right? Suppose we have to transfer data from say register A to register D. Then we have to enable A. We have to enable A and we have to make load D. So data from register A will come out and it will be uploaded onto this bus, and from bus it will reach to D register, and from here it will be loaded to D register. If we make this LD, this load control signal of D register active, then data will be loaded, right? So at a single clock pulse, during a single clock pulse or during a T state, any of the means only two lines has to be active, right? One will be enable, another one will load. There should not be two enables at a time. It never going to happen, because in that case we discussed bus contention will occur and our bus will be damaged, right? 5 volt, 0 volt, this example also we took. And here we have the ROM circuitry. We discussed this, that in first location, right, 0, 0, 111 is stored, right? This circuitry also we have discussed. So from A0, A1, A2 address is coming, and from D0, D1, D2 data is coming out. So we have how many locations? In fact, we have got 8 locations in this ROM circuitry, diode ROM circuitry, starting from 000 to 111. 8 different locations are there, and in each location, what we have 4-bit data, right? So we have 4-bit data, and how data is stored? By connecting the diodes. You can see here 0111, 1000, 1011, 1100, like, right? 8 different data are stored, each of 4 bit. Similarly, we can have 8 bit in one location, right? So in a ROM chip, what will be the different pins? Address pins will be there, read bar pin will be there, and data pins will be there. From data will come out, right? So address will go into the ROM chip like A0, A1, A2, and inside ROM chip we have address decoder, and it will point to that location, and from there data will come out. Anyway, so this is ROM. So here you can see we have a 2048 control ROM, right? So it means here we have 2048 different location. So it will start from what? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is 4, this is 4, and this is 3. So 0, 0, 0 to 7 F F. Right. So 0, 0, 0 to 7 FFH will be the different location. Right. 2048 locations are there, and in each location we have 8-bit data. Right. And when we make this enable high, so first of all you send the address, right? So address will be decoded, and it will start from first location 0, 0, 0 to, and last location will be 7 FFH, right? And moment you make this enable, then data will come out from this chip, right? In each location we have 8-bit data. So this is a tri-state ROM, right? Even though if you make read bar signal low, data will come out only when this enable signal is 1. Hello? Achha, here we are seeing, no? So 40 students are there. Ankita Kumari. Hello, Ankita.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is a 2048 into 8 RAM, means it has got, right, 2048 different locations, and in each location we have 8-bit data, right? So here it is known as tri-state ROM. Tri-state means even though once you send the address, it will point to a typical location, and if you make read bar low, what will happen? Whatever is the content of that location has to come out from this chip. But now it is not going to come out, because when you make this enable control signal 1, then only it will come out, right? Otherwise it's not going to come out, even though you make read bar low, right? So a chip enable or right, CE chip enable circuitry we will discuss in SAF1. If this signal is made, say, active, then only, right, this circuitry, this chip is going to function. So when enable is 1, and if you send the address, if you make the read bar low, then only data I can read. If enable is 0, then whatever you do, it's not going to respond, right? It will be not connected to these pins, right? Data, these lines, data pins, right, won't be connected to this point D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7. So it will be used in while transferring the data. Now you can see here we have this SAF1 architecture. I'll just increase the width. So what I see over here, this is a SAP1 circuit, simple as possible computer, right? So what we see, we have a program counter. We have a program counter. It counts these clock pulses, negative edge clock pulses it counts, but it counts only when this CP is made 1, right? Otherwise, it will neglect these clock pulses, right? But otherwise, it is going to neglect these clock pulses. So this program counter will count only when this CP control signal is made active or made 1. So during any clock pulses, if the CP is high, then program counter will be incremented. Next, this program counter is on of how many bit? It is of 4 bit. 4-bit program counter. So it will count like this. First count will be 0, 0, 0, 0. Right. Now, if EP is there, EP is made active. EP stands for enable. Enable program counter. If this pin is made 1, what will happen? Hello? Like
Sir, the program counter will load the data on the bus.
This is made 1, content of the particular ROM location, right? Suppose it is 7FF. So if it is 0 over here, 1 over here, 0 over here, 1 over here, like this. So 0 will come over here, 1 will come over here, 0 will come over here, 1 will come over here. Like whenever we make enable 1, this whatever is the data inside this ROM will come out. Right. First of all, you have to send the address. So here inside program counter, we have 0, 0, 0, 0. So if you make enable PC, right? If you make this line 1, this control line 1 active, what will happen? This 0, 0, 0 will come over here. It is a 8-bit line, right? Out of 8-bit, 4-bit line will be used for uploading the program counter content 0, 0, 0. Right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So if EP is 1, then only program counter is outed. Right? Now, program counter is holding what? It is holding the address of the instruction. Address of the instruction which has to be executed. Right. Now, so this has to be done during T1. During T1, program counter has to be outed. So this is outed. Now this is address of the instruction which has to be executed. Now where will be our instruction? Our instruction will be inside memory, because when you save your file, whatever program you write in say Turbo C plus, right? After writing your program, you save it in the memory, right? So our program will be inside memory. So where is our memory? Our memory in this SAP1 architecture is here, right? 16:8 RAM. So this address will come out from here and it will be loaded to MAR 0, 0, 0, 0. MAR stands for memory address register. Memory address register. कहाँ गया जी? हाँ, right. This will be our MAR. This will be our MAR, memory address register. Here we have 3-bit MAR. So data will be loaded over here 0, 0, 0. And of course it is 4-bit right now. In program counter it is 4-bit. So 0, 0 will be loaded, and here it is decoded. And after decoding, it will point to this location, right? And it is pointing to this location, so data will come out from this location only. So it will be 0, 111 will come out. So here you can see we have 16:8 RAM, right? 16:8 RAM. So this 4-bit will come into this. Here it will be decoded, right? And it will point to, it is 16:8 RAM. So what will be the different location? What will be the different location? LG, first location will be L0, L1, L2. Similarly, it will go up to L15, location 0 to location 15. So right now this 4-bit address is 000. So after decoding, it will point to which location? Location 0, right? And in location 0, whatever instruction we have, right? Instruction will be also in the form of 4-bit code. So that instruction will be outed from here only when the C bar is made active. This C bar is made active. If it is made 0, then instruction will come out from here and it will go to instruction register over here. So INSTR, first instruction, instruction 0 will come out from here and it will go to instruction register. Now here again instruction will be decoded, right? Right. So from instruction it will go to controller sequencer. Right. So what is happening during T1? Program counter is going onto the bus and it is loaded to MAR. Right. So during T1 clock pulse, which are the control signals will be active? EP will be active, right? And LM bar will be active. So whatever is the address inside program counter will be outed and it will be loaded to MAR, right? Memory address register. Now it will start decoding this. Address will be decoded, and a typical, based on the address, a typical location will be selected, right? Typical location will be selected, and if C bar is made low, then instruction will come out and it will go to instruction register. So reading a memory is a very slow process. Reading a memory is very slow process. So it takes some time, right? During T2, right? Instruction from memory is not going to come out and it will go to instruction register. Why? Because by that time, this decoding is not going to be over, and enabling of this, say, even though if you enable during this T2 period, data will not be coming out and it will be loaded over here. So during T2, actually program counter is incremented, PC is incremented. So this will be made 1. So with next clock pulse striking, it will count will change to 0001. So here program counter will be incremented. So here only this control signal will be active while others will be inactive, right? During T3, now decoding and everything will be ready. This decoding will be done. Typical memory location will be selected. Now this memory will be ready for delivering the instruction or data, right? So during T3, you can make C bar low. So instruction from this instruction register will come out and it will be loaded to instruction register. And for this purpose, we have to make C bar active and this LI bar active. So CE bar active has to be there, then LI bar has to be active. So instruction from memory, it will come to instruction register. Now it will be decoded and execution of the instruction will start from here, right? This is T1, this is T2, this is T3, and T4 onwards, T4, T5, T6, whatever is the instruction is stored in this RAM location will be executed, right? Then again T0, T1 will come. Again next program counter will be outed, right? 001. It will point to next location, right? Program counter will be incremented by 1010, right? Then C bar and LI bar will be activated. So this program counter, whatever is now instruction 2, INSTR1 will be outed and it will be loaded over here, INSTR1. Now it will be decoded and working of and second instruction will be executed. So this way it is going to do. Now who is going to decide T1, T2, T3, T4? Of course, a ring counter. So where is the ring counter? Ring counter is inside this controller sequencer. Right? Ring counter will be inside this. It will decide this is T1, this is T2, this is T3, this is T4, like this. So clock is coming here also, you can see. Right, this controller sequencer is generating the clock, right? So from that clock, this ring counter will decide this is T1, this is T2, this is T3, this is T4, this is T5, this is T6. Then next clock will be again named as T1, right? So during this T1 period, what has to be done? This EP has to be high and LM bar has to be low. So who will make this? Because controller sequencer is knowing that this time period is T1, so I have to make CP equal EP equal to 1 and LM bar equal to 1. So it will make EP equal to 1, LM bar equal to 0. Others will be inactive, so it will be 0, it will be 1, it will be 0, 0, 0. No, sorry. CP will be made 0. CP stands for incrementing the program counter. CP is used for incrementing the program counter. So during T1, we are not supposed to increment the program counter. So ring counter will not activate this CP control signal, right? EP is active high and program counter has to be outed during T1, so it will be made 1. Right, during T1, of course, whatever data or address is outed by the program counter will be loaded to memory address register, MAR. So LM bar has to be 0 because it is active low. So for making this LM bar signal active, you have to make it 0. So controller sequencer is making this one 0. Now CE bar is chip enable. It will enable this RAM. So right now during T1, we no need to enable that chip. So CE bar has to be inactive, so it is made 1. Instruction register should not be loaded during this time, so this will be made 1. Instruction register should not, what is this? EI. This should not be enabled during this time, so it has to be 1. Right, LA bar is for this. Loading the accumulator, so nothing has to be loaded, so this will be 1. EA also has to be 0. SU, we do not want to add or subtract right now, during this only. program counter will be outed, so this will be 0. U also has to be 0. LB bar loading B register, so this has to be 1. LO bar outputting the outputting the data onto the output register. We do not want to do this, so this has to be 1. So this controller sequencer is going to generate this control word during T1. Control C. New slide. Right. So what we see this in this diagram. Can I do something? So in this SAP-phone architecture, you can see we have a 4-bit program counter PC, right? We have 8-bit data bus. 8-bit bus is there, which not data, you cannot say data right now. It's used. It will be used for address also. Now this input and MAR. What is this? Input and MAR. In fact, this input and MAR circuitry will be used using keyboard. Using this keyboard, we can send the address to this RAM, and for using keyboard 4-bit address will be typed. Right? First. Then four-bit instruction code. Four-bit address we can type, then 4-bit instruction code is typed, and 8-bit data. 8-bit data can be typed. Right. So here in this memory, we have 16 different locations. L0 to L15. In each location, we can have 8-bit storage facility. Right. Out of this 8-bit, right, we can use 4-bit for instruction, and next 4-bit for address, right? And these two, right, in one location we can store 4-bit instruction and 4-bit address, and in other location we can store a 8-bit data. Right, in this memory location, right, whatever instruction, address or data, there won't be this, you won't be able to differentiate whether it is instruction or data. It will be in form of 0 and 1 only. Right, so processor will decide whether this is instruction or this is address or this is data, right, based on the instruction given. So all these 16 locations, right, you can input your data and program. Right, data will be there. Also, your program will be also here only within the 16 locations. 16 is to 8 RAM. Right. So here you can using a keyboard, you can input it. So once you input your program into this RAM, then you can start executing your program. So for executing your program, you have to give the address to starting address of your program to this program counter first. Right. Then program counter will be outed, right, during T1. Then during T2, program counter will be incremented, PC plus 1. During T3, right, instruction from memory will come to instruction register. And from here it will go to, if EI is made active, it will go to controller sequencer, and here it will be decoded. And after decoding, what exactly this instruction, what exactly this command says will be performed by this system, right? So inside controller sequencer, we have a ring counter, right? And that ring counter is counting this negative clock pulse, negative as clock pulse, right? So this is our clock, right? So whenever negative transition is there, T1 is 1. This is 1. So when T1 is 1, during this, PC out will take place. And for outing the PC, right, here is the control signal. I will write this CP, EP, LM bar, CE bar, right? Then LIEI bar, LAEA bar, EA. And last we have S0, E0, L0, E0. SU. I should write it a little bigger. CP, EP, LM bar, CE bar, LI, EI bar, LAEA. Then we have SU, EU, LO bar, LB bar, LO bar, sorry. This is LB. This is LB bar, LO bar. Now these control signals will be actually generated by this controller sequencer during T1, right? During T2, right? It will generate this during T1. During T2 also it is going to generate this 12-bit control signal. During T3 also it will generate this 12-bit control signal. So here you can see what will be the values of these control lines during T1. So during T1, this has to be, CP has to be, counting should not be done, so it will be 0. Program counter has to be outed. Memory address register has to be loaded, so this has to be active. CE bar, chip enable should not be there, so this will be 1. and this will be 1 1 1 0 0 0 1 1. So it is 5, no, it is 5. This is E3. So 5E3H will be outed by this controller sequencer. 5E3H during T1, this 12-bit data will be 5E3, right? So that whatever is the program counter will be outed and it will be loaded to MAR during T1. During T2, our control signal has to be there for incrementing the program counter only. So program counter will be incremented only when next clock pulse comes, which is T2. So CP has to be 1 for incrementing the program counter. Program counter should not be outed during T2, so it will be 0, right? So it should not be loaded. So then it will be 1. This will be 1 1 1 0 0 0 1 1. So this will be BE3H. So during T2, data will be outed, will be BE3H. Now during T3 decoding of address is over. Now data from this RAM or instruction from RAM will come out and it will go to instruction register. So this has to be active during T3, and this LI bar has to be active during T3. EI bar also has to be active during T3. So what will be the control signal during T3? You can see it is 0 0 1 0. So this C bar has to be active. So this will be 0, right? This should not be counting. So 0, right? This should not be outing program counter 0. This has to be 1. LM bar loading of MAR should not be there. So this has to be 1. So this will be 3. Rest will be LI has to be 0. So that instruction register will be loaded. EI is 1. EI is 1. EI is 1. EI is 1. This will be 1. This will be 0. Right. Then 0 0 1. So it will be 0 0 1 1. So our this will be 2 6 3. So during T3 it will be 263H. Right. The T3 state is called memory state because the address RAM instruction is transferred. Addressed RAM instruction is transferred from the memory to the instruction register. Right. So during this T state, right, active control bits will be C bar and LI bar only. Others will be inactive. So our control word will be 263H. Now here you can see during T1 only EP and LM bar is active. So what is happening? Address from program counter is outed and it is loaded to MAR. Only these two are active. Others are inactive. So you can see other circuits are not working. Other circuits are not working. Right. So address is outed during T1. During T2, right, all circuitry are inactive except program counter. So program counter is incremented by 1 over here. during T2, right? During T3, what is happening? During T3, right? This C bar is active, right? So whatever address was sent earlier is decoded properly, and then instruction from memory is coming out and it is going to instruction register, and from instruction register it is going to controller sequencer, right? So during T1, which are the two circuitry active? Ankesh Raj, during T1, which are the two circuits working? Ankesh? Mahavadi? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes,
During
sir.
T1, which are the two circuits active? During T1.
Sir, during T1,
Which are the two circuits working?
sir, sir, EP and the enable of the PC would be high, and
LM bar has to be
LM
active.
bar would be, yes, sir.
So now what we see over here, that program counter is active and MAR is active. Who is making active these two circuitry? This controller sequencer. It is generating all control signal, no? CP, EP, LM bar, CE bar is generated by this controller sequencer. So all other control signals here, only this one is active, this one is active, rest are inactive. This is not working, this is not working, right? All are inactive. So that's why, right, in this, during T1, only these two are not, means here it is not, the PC and MA are not shaded, so that to indicate these two circuitry are active during T1. So program counter is outed, right? So address from the program counter, instruction address is actually outed and it is loaded to MAR. During T2, this decoding and other part is being done inside the MAR. So that time period is actually used for incrementing the PC, right? So PC is incremented here. Then during T3, decoding part is over, so instruction is transferred from memory to instruction register, and from there it goes to controller sequencer. So controller sequencer now will generate the control signal according to this instruction, right? So for fetching the instruction, first of all you have to enable the program counter and you have to load the MAR. During T2, you have to, right, increment the program counter by making the CP control signal active. So program counter has to be incremented. And during T3, whatever instruction is there, right, is already, address is outed and it is decoded. So during T3, instruction will be fetched from the memory, right? So this step, these steps will be followed by the computer system every time it fetches the instruction from memory, right? For executing any instruction, first of all, it will read that instruction from the memory and then it will work according to the instruction, right? So here, these three steps are common for executing any instruction. This fetching on the instruction has to be done first. So these three steps will be common. So first state is what? T1, and it is called address state. Right? Why address state? Because during T1, address of the instruction from program counter is outed and it is loaded to MAR or it is sent to the memory during T1. So it is called address outing state or address state. During T2, nothing is being done except incrementing the program counter. So this is known as increment state. During T2, program counter is incremented. So this is called increment state. During T3, right, which part of the circuitry is working? It is memory part is working. Right. So it is called memory state. Right. So address state, increment state, and memory state. These three states are common for fetching the instruction. T1, T2, T3. So each time whenever instruction is executed, processor has to go through these three states: address state, increment state, and memory state. Right? And it has to be, means this cycle will be followed. So this is called fetch cycle. Fetch cycle of the instruction. Right? And during T4, T5, T6, right, execution of this instruction will take place. So this is called execution cycle. Right? And fetch plus execution cycle is called instruction cycle. Right? So processor has to go through fetch cycle and execution cycle in order to execute an instruction. Right? And for executing an instruction, right, processor will go through an instruction cycle which consists of what? Fetch and execute cycle. Right? Now, in fact, here in this SAP1, we have only these many instructions. LDA. Add. Sub. Out. And halt. Only 5 instructions are there. 5 instructions are there. So, how many bits do we need to design? How many bits we need for coding these instructions? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, if you go for 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, then 0, 0, 1. We need minimum 3 bits for, right, minimum 3 bits. Sorry. Minimum 3 bits are needed for coding these instructions. Right? 3-bit code is needed to represent 5 different instructions. But in memory, right, we can have 8-bit. In a memory, we can have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. In one location, we can store 8-bit, right? So instead of going for 3-bit coding, right, in SAP1, right, 4-bit instruction code is taken. Instruction code is there. For LDA, it is 0, or it is this 4-bit code. For add, it is 1. This is the code, right? 4-bit code. For sub, it is 2. So it is 0, 0, 1, 0. And for out, it is, I'll have to check for out what is the code. It is written. Somewhere it is there. Not mentioned. Yes. For out, it is E. For out, it is E. Or for halt, it is somewhere that code has to be there. LDA. No, it is missing. Right. So operation code of these, it is 0. It is control room, so not needed. This is LDA macro, sort P1 bit. It is given. That code part is not there. Anyway, so only 5 instructions are there. Probably for out, it is E. E is 1110, and for halt, it is F. 1111. So for stopping your program, this code has to be there, right? So this 4-bit instruction you can store over here or here in a memory, right? Now, how many locations are there? L0 to L15. So for sending the address, how many bit address is needed? So it is in SAP1 we have 4-bit instruction code and address length is also 4-bit because we have only 16 locations. So in a memory location, we can store instruction in a memory location, in one location. In one RAM location, we can store our instruction of 4-bit as well as address of the memory location 4-bit. right? So in fact,
They also socialize. So that is also an agenda for